England 0 Brazil 0, 3 Lions hold off Tite's side in Wembley stalemate. That, sadly, has to be the harsh lesson learned from the 2 prestige friendlies at Wembley against the world champions and the country who have won the competition 5 times. Gareth Southgate's youthful 3 Lions squad did emerge with some credit from the 2 games, particularly on the defensive front. With so many big names missing, the stand-ins stood strong, particularly in this clash when it was a "can we have out ball back please" night at Wembley. Southgate is insistent England are a work in progress and he must know in his heart they won't be anywhere near the finished article by next summer. What was particularly disappointing was the failure to produce any decent counter-attacking football against Brazil, the joint favourites in Russia along with Germany. Throughout qualification for the World Cup, the 3 Lions became used to having possession galore against inferior opponents who sat deep. But facing superstar Neymar and his fellow South American football aristocrats, the roles were reversed. From a home point of view it wasn't pretty, with the South Americans boasting a possession rate of 76% at one stage, and ending with an average of 65%. Southgate was handicapped by the early loss of Ruben Loftus-Cheek to a back injury in the 35th minute. The hero of the 0-0 draw with Germany on Friday looked like just one of 2 players who were capable of playing the game anything like the Brazilian way. The other was Marcus Rashford, but with England seemingly intent of keeping it tight at the back, the youngster was always up against it facing a highly experienced Brazil backline. Every time Neymar picked up the ball the Brazilian contingent at Wembley waited in anticipation, but the £198 million man was not quite at his supreme best. England defended resolutely, even if it was a bit agricultural at times, with Jake Livermore eventually going into the book for a Sunday League-style challenge on Neymar. In their qualifiers, it had been a case of the 3 Lions dominating. But having to play second fiddle to the South Americans seemed to drain the attacking confidence out of them. We had been promised if teams came at England, Southgate's men would be able to flourish on the break. But there was a lack of zip and zest about the men when they did have the ball, with ideas and inspiration hardly at a premium either. When they did possession it invariably went back to the South Americans in seconds. Still, keeper Joe Hart will have been happy with his display, keeping out Alves, Fernandinho and Paulino with smart stops in the second half, the last one with his chest. Southgate spent much of the match on the touchline, hands in pockets, knowing this football demonstration was once again illustrating England's shortfalls. A positive, though, must have been the assured display of Liverpool defender Joe Gomez on his full debut, and he was deservedly voted man of the match. Liverpool teammate Dominic Solanke, who came on to make his debut, had a promising 15 minutes. To be fair, Chelsea won the Champions League in 2012 despite being dominated in matches in the latter stages, including the final against Bayern Munich when they won in a penalty shootout. The other thought is with this newfound ability to shut out the very best, Southgate must get his men practicing those spot kicks, because they might be their best chance of progress in Russian.